Okay, my name is Ivan Smirnov. I'm the first year PhD researcher candidate. The topic is enhancing indoor environmental quality through AI-driven digital twins. My supervisor is in the front row. Well, IEQ is not just a matter of comfort. It's crucial for the productivity and for well-being of people inside. If it's too hot or too cold, or too humid or too dense, we can't write milestone reports productively. The research investigates how can we converge the usage of AI and digital twins to address the challenges of, well, when we start working with IEQ, the problems that we meet is that there are high costs, the data coverage is limited, and there is no real-time responsiveness from the occupants about the situation in the room. I want to address these challenges with the digital twin to somehow enhance the building operations in the building while improving the feeling of the people in the room, in the building, in the premises. So let's begin with the problem statement. The traditional methods of monitoring, they rely heavily on extensive, very, very extensive network of sensors. This is expensive. This is impractical. Moreover, when we deploy the sensors, the vast amounts of data that we generate is just impossible to process without the usage of some data analysis, without the usage of, let's say, what we call AI now. Now everything is called AI, but anyway, this vast amount of data is useless until we can make some decisions from this data. And moreover, there are some privacy concerns if we collect the data that is not just temperature, but the amount of people in the room, but I will cover it later a bit more. This raises a question: if there is a way to make it cost-effective, privacy-conscious, and occupant-centered, to make the human in the room feel better. State of the art. Well, AI and machine learning is already used everywhere in the management of at least the air conditioning systems, and in some very developed buildings, it's also managed for. It's also used for more, but the effectiveness of these things, still, it relies on the quality of the data. So if the sensors are not good, the prediction, the recommendations, the whatever, the solutions we make will not be good as well. The sensors themselves, they break. The deployment of them is difficult, and then we need a special guy to maintain them, which is also, well, expensive. This problem can be maybe solved with not using some of the sensors as physical representation of them, but building the so-called virtual sensors, which are just the mathematical models to calculate some values that we don't measure directly. And about the occupant feedback. Well, people are now collecting the occupant feedback with surveys and everything. And sometimes the problem is that, apart from the privacy concerns, is that we always need to include the user into this surveys. And we need to take the time, and we need to integrate this subjective data of like, how do I feel in the room or in the building? We need to integrate it into some automatic systems to turn this like or not like, good or not good into numbers. So the research questions are, first, are there the ways that AI and digital twins can enhance the monitoring and control of the indoor air quality? Can virtual sensors really replace the physical sensors to make the maintenance and the deployment cheaper? And is there a way to integrate occupant feedback effectively so it really works and it's not just a questionnaire from Polytechnico that comes every half a year with questions? Do you like how we built the whatever, the new air conditioner? The objectives are to develop the virtual sensors and try them out and see if they are any good, to integrate the human feedback, which is, I think, will be the main focus, just because, let's say, putting the human in the loop is what is now modern and popular and good. And if it will, in the end of the day, enhance the efficiency of the operations of the building. The methodology, well, of course, there was a literature review. Then there is a huge part of the data collection and sensor deployment of actual hands-on work, and the occupant feedback integration that has not been done, and which is the most unclear part for me myself. Literature review. Well, I did not cut the last year as well, but the amount of publications is growing. Anyway, this part is a bit more covered in the paper, but yeah, I will not waste time on that. The deployment of the sensors. There are some sensors that are already deployed and we play with them. This hands-on experience is already in the process. There is a database that we already control, hosted in the Polytechnical premises. All the data is, of course, secure, and it's somewhere here on the server. It's quite secure. It's quite all right. Nobody will steal it. And the data management is already set up. So we already collect and even work with the data. At least we can see it. For now, the occupant feedback is not done. Now we just look at the amount of occupants of one of the rooms in the building, but I want this thing to be more in the future. So we will understand more on the feedback of the people in the room. Maybe it will be some surveys through some chat bots, or it will be the usage of the large language models to understand how people are seated on the chair next to the table. Do they look that they feel comfortable? But yeah, it will be covered in one of the next slides. So yeah, in this slide, integrating the occupant feedback is crucial to provide the input on comfort levels. I want to implement this thing, the occupant feedback, inside the digital twin that we have. But that part is to be done, let's say. That's one of the plans. We plan to implement the developed systems, all of them, into the, let's say, typical urban work environment, which will be our building. The installation of sensors, more data, and all these findings that we will do will be published and covered in reports and whatever. I expect to develop an AI-enabled virtual sensors, apart from the one that we have already built, which is pretty simple. It just covers predicts the outside temperature, which was the fun first experiment. But we want to do more to replace some of the physical sensors and see, maybe calculate if it's going to be cheaper and more effective. Summary. In conclusion, well, the research aims to enhance the indoor environmental quality through the digital twins and AI. The future work will be addressed on the limitations of the occupant feedback, of the, well, of how effective actually virtual sensors and the IoT in general are, and on the on how we will be able to validate the efforts that we put into it. That's pretty much it. This is the work plan. Well, the courses are almost covered, all of them. I mean, this course. Is it too little? Yeah, I think it's too little. Well, anyway, the courses are already covered. There is the lab that is about to start, the NBLL lab that I hope to be a part of, an important part of. And also there will be some international research period. I don't know where, and I don't know, I don't know where and I don't know when, but it will be established, I hope soon. Thank you for your attention.